It is December the 27th. It's our first meeting since Christmas. It is 17:30 UTC. We'll get started here in just a moment. What's up, everybody? We'll get started here as people start kind of coming on in here. Nomad, I can see you're in here. Christine, you've joined. I've tweeted out the room. You know, the week after Christmas, it'll be interesting to see kind of numbers in here. We may have fewer than we might have any other time. People might still be, I don't know, Christmas hungover, or maybe just talked out from talking to their families and friends over the weekend. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. There's Crypt Keeper. Crypt Keeper's joining us now, so now it's a party. Oh, he's
what's the word?
Man, what's up? Did you have a good holidays over the weekend?
Yeah, man, it was great. It was great, actually good. Blessed, same. You know, I'm just happy it's over, and on to new adventures.
Yeah, I'm kind of like you. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not Scrooge. I love Christmas time. I really do. But as it's going on, sometimes I'm like, wow, this is a lot to keep up with. This is a lot going on. And after it's over, much like you just said, sometimes I'm just like, you know, kind of tongue dragging and be like, wow, I did the marathon. I finished it, and maybe glad to be through it. So, and I guess we're kind of not completely through it, because let's face it, you know, you've got New Year's coming up. A lot of people will have it's kind of a weird work week for people, the week between Christmas and New Year's. And so, yeah, I feel like you don't really get started with kind of back to a normal routine until next week.
It's crazy because it's like Christmas is basically like 3 days. It's not one day. It's basically like 3 days. It's Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday. And then Monday is just trying to catch up on everything from the whole weekend. And it's just insane. Like I've been on Twitter since Friday all the way until today. Like just trying to stay like, you know what I'm saying, in tune with everything. And it's just hard, bro. Whoever's not in tune with it, there's a lot to pick up on, lots to go back to read.
Completely understand this, and you know this because sometimes I will chat with you offline here. But I had a lot of family obligations, a lot of events to be at, you know, things to do with family and Christmas and everything. So I wasn't able to keep up with everything. And man, for a you know, stock market obviously closed down during that time, but the crypto market, you know, crypto don't sleep, and we definitely saw that over the weekend. As you get to the title of what our title is today on Moon Monday, is what is SOS? And man, that got the Twitterverse and just the NFT community at large kind of buzzing over a Christmas weekend. So did you guys get pretty excited about that? Where did you first hear about this news?
From Chris.
Warm it up, Chris. What's up, Christine? How are you?
Good. I'm glad you guys survived the Christmas weekend. And yeah, I think that was a super exciting thing with the SOS. It was almost like a great Christmas gift for the NFT community. And a friend had told me, and he's in like the Bored Ape community, and he had messaged me like, did you claim your SOS? And I'm like, no. And I was like, okay, end of conversation kind of thing. And he's like, no, go claim it. It's an airdrop for the NFT community and for OpenSea users. And I was like, dude, is this a scam? And he's like, no, like we all already did it. Like, here you go. Like my friends did it. I did it. You're fine. So then I did it. And then I told all my friends about it as soon as I was like, okay, this is good.
I'm so glad to be part of your friends, Christine, because you are one of the people that found out about it from you. And I know there's others in this room as well. So yeah, found out about it from you. And I'm like, what is this? Kind of like you. I guess I'm always skeptical initially. Yeah, and as you should be. Right. And so I think everything's a scam at first. It's always my first thought. Well, it's a scam. And it's probably why I wasn't in on like Bitcoin or something earlier in my life, because it's always a scam at first, right? But certainly if you've been in the space for long enough, then you know that, hey, most things are scams. So yeah, I thought it's probably a scam at first. Looked more into it, and then I thought, okay, all right, I'm seeing something here. So if you're in here and you're like, what are they talking about? Over the weekend, is it Christmas Eve, Christine?
Was it Christmas Eve, guys? I don't remember. Ryan or Crypt, if you guys remember.
Yeah, I think it was Christmas Eve, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
I think it was Christmas Eve.
I think so.
So for me, it was like, you know, I'm at a party, I'm getting blitzed. I regularly check my Twitter like I do. And Christine Barnum was like, "Hey, did you get this SOS?" I had no idea what was really happening, but in any case, yeah, I found out because of her also.
See, Christine's like super alpha girl. That's her superhero. It's like it's got a big A on her chest for alpha. Yeah, it's awesome. Uh, so yeah, if you're unfamiliar with what it is, sometime on Christmas Eve, everybody, just like Ryan said, everybody's partying. They're having a good time, and then they get these messages from Christine. Everybody all across Twitter, all found out from Christine at the same time that SOS, this Open DAO group, that's the group, is Open DAO. They were airdropping tokens to those that had used OpenSea before. So if you've ever, and what's OpenSea? It's it's the trading. It's kind of the hub for NFT trading. So if you've ever bought an NFT or done any sort of transaction, sold or anything like that on OpenSea, they were looking at those transactions and they took a snapshot on the 23rd. I'm looking at their website right now. They took their snapshot on the 23rd, and everybody that had transactions before the 23rd, they were able to claim an airdrop of this SOS token. And so they, it's kind of a frenzy. It's a little bit, if you saw the ENS drop from people that had their .eth domains recently, they were getting, it was kind of like that, where you had to claim it. And then once you did, it's a DAO also. So this gives you governance into this new project, which we'll get into it here in a moment. And that's a cool stat you've got up there, Christine. We'll cover that in a second. But yeah, so everybody was claiming it. And then other people were claiming it, and they had a lot of transactions on OpenSea. So maybe they were a flipper, maybe they had a whole lot of buys and sells on OpenSea. So they were getting, maybe more than $1,000 just literally just gifted to them. And then they were selling it. And then came, and I'm kind of going over the weekend's events now, came the FUD. Okay. Oh, it's a scam. No big, it's nothing good.
Yep. Or the FUD also came from, I had friends that were like, hey, can you help me claim my SOS? And I'm like, oh, yeah. And then so told them how to do it. And then I guess they weren't eligible, or they got like, I don't know, $5 worth or something. So the gas was way more. And then there came the FUD coming from them as well. Like, oh, this is crap. It's all hype. It's going to die. Like, who cares about SOS? I was like, wow.
So was that mainly what I know I feel from talking to you, you've ran into more FUD than most on this. And do you feel like it's mainly people that just didn't get, maybe it wasn't what they hoped it would be monetary, dollar wise?
I think so. I feel like it's people that weren't eligible, or, it wasn't what they hoped to be, like what you said, monetary wise, or they sold right away and before that pump, and they're pissed. Hate all of us.
I'm not a flipper on OpenSea. Ryan, I know you've, done a lot. I don't know if you flip or not, but I know you'll do a transaction on OpenSea. And so some people that do like a heavy transactional volume probably ended up doing pretty well out of this. So then it depends of, do you want to sell some of it? Do you want to hold on to it and hope the project does well? Christine, whenever you were first learning about this, what did you learn about the project itself? What is OpenDAO looking to do?
So I feel like the more I learned about it, the more I liked it. So then I was like making a joke, and I posted I was like, I'm an SOS maxi now, because I was like, I love that. First of all, I love the airdrop to the NFT community and like involving everyone in it, whether, they wanted to be part of it or not. It's like, hey, this is us. And they're applying pressure on OpenSea, from what I understood, to be a safer marketplace, to be, more secure and offer a lot more security for people that trade with them, and to have like a token, and to have, so it's a lot of pressure towards them because they're the main hub for NFTs, and they're also telling them, if you guys aren't going to do it, then we'll do it. And I was like, you know what? How about if OpenSea does, like, this pressure does work, and then they adopt SOS? That would make so much more sense. And then now, as you get to know SOS even more, a lot of NFT projects and developers and leaders in this space are starting to work with SOS. Like, hey, you know what? I'm going to drop a limited edition or a one of one, and you could only use SOS. We're going to plan to do NFT drops with SOS holders. And it's like, whoa, like, it's evolving a lot more than what their vision was in the first place too. And I think it's because they're welcoming everyone, and now they're having votes on their Discord too.
So not truly a DAO yet. We're not like using our tokens to, give us more weight to our vote yet. Correct?
Yeah. The weight, I don't think, is there yet. It's like, just as long as you're a holder, what they're practicing right now in their Discord is, then you can vote. But I know that their vision is, the more token you have, the bigger vote you have. So
as I think about this, this may be a new thing of Web3 that may be completely different from what we know in modern business. And what I mean by that, think about, I'm trying to think of an industry, the sporting industry. I don't know somebody that, Dallas Cowboy fans, which had a great little win last night, by the way. But yeah, if you had any of the Cowboys on your fantasy team, Christine, you did quite well.
I kicked mine off, but I did see that they had a huge win.
Dak might have won it for you just in the first half. But yeah, if I'm like wanting, all Dallas Cowboys season ticket holders for my advertising, maybe I'm making T-shirts or some sort of memorabilia, and I would want that list of all people that buy season tickets because I would know that they are fans of the Cowboys, right? And I can't do that. The Cowboys aren't going to give me that list of season ticket holders. That's behind lock and key, and they don't publish those, nor would they want it to. But in Web3, that's different. It's an open blockchain. I can see everybody that's transacted with OpenSea and bought an NFT. So now this is a little different now that we have this open, everybody can see it blockchain. Now I can see, call it your customer list, even though it's all de-identified, but I can see your customer list and I can send every one of those customers something to give it value, to give my project exposure. And really, I think if that could be done in the regular centralized world, it would be if we could, get hold of some of the names and addresses of, different ventures. But in Web3, this will be common.
I got to jump in here because the timing is just so perfect.
Yeah.
What the OpenDAO has showed us is essentially the phone book of Web3.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's so true.
It's a good way of putting that. And it's even more laser focused, right? Because it's not just the phone book of Web3, because not everybody in Web3 is completely NFT based. But this is even more laser focused to say, I want all Web3 customers that are really involved in NFTs. Where would I find a list of wallets that really love NFTs? It's OpenSea, right? That's 100%. If you like at least Ethereum based NFTs, you've probably done a transaction on OpenSea before. So it's completely, I like that analogy of it's the phone book of we know where to go for it now. And so we saw this done also with the ENS, with the web, with the domains, with the Ethereum based domains. If you've seen, I think Christine, I'm looking, do you still have? Yeah. Christine here in her name here, she has christinebarnum.eth. And that's always, you can send money to christinebarnum.eth, and I invite you to do so if you feel so encouraged. But it's an actual web address. But people that actually got something like that, they were airdropped these ENS tokens. And so, same idea is, well, we want this ENS token to, get broad exposure. How do we get exposure? Well, we airdrop it to all the people that have got these .eth domains. And some people did very well on that. Here's my question to you guys. Is this going to become more common in 2022?
I think so.
Absolutely.
Yep. It's going to be, I missed that ENS drop. I don't know if you guys I missed it. I was bummed, but I was super happy for everyone that was part of it. And I'm like, how come nobody told me? But all right, I'll try to keep my ear to the ground on other things. And I'm glad we got this one, right? But this has shown, ENS and SOS has shown how wildly successful it could be to do something like this. So it's only time until all the other tokens and coins are going to be doing it. It's going to be like a copycat thing.
Yeah, I think you're going to see maybe too many of these. I can tell you myself, I have a venture that I'm working on right now, and something I'm thinking about is you want to get your brand in front of as many people as possible. Well, I don't know why I didn't think of it. I'm sure that there's other people that thought of it, but how these guys pulled this off was, a pretty simple wallet scan. It's, the simplest genius freaking thing I've seen in a decade, honestly. But it's fucking brilliant, okay? And when I actually looked and saw how they did, and I looked at it, oh my God, this is just so simple, but so damn brilliant. Part of it I couldn't figure out was, who's going to buy it? You're getting a bunch of stuff for free, so who would actually buy it? So how could you sell it? But, people were buying. I sold a third of what I got, a little over 9, and then when it came back down into the 6s, I bought it back. But, just fucking brilliant. Okay, so yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to incorporate that in what I'm doing, and I know there are people way smarter than me. Probably got on the phone with somebody. Hey, why didn't you think about this? Because it's just so damn brilliant. Just brilliant. Talk about guerrilla marketing 101 for Web3. This is it.
It definitely gets exposure. You know, I'm involved with a BSC project that does a lot of airdropping, and same idea of, you know, you can just airdrop to certain wallet addresses that hold a certain token. And so, yeah, I've seen this done, but I've never seen it done, these last two projects, to this scale. By the way, Christine, you said you missed the ENS, but I think they're still giving out ENS tokens. And so much so that I checked on your name on Etherscan, and you do have an ENS token. So Merry Christmas. You do. And again, because of Web3 and everything's open, I can look and I can see.
What? I had no idea. Okay, so you have to help me claim that later.
Yeah, I thought you had to have your ENS name before like the drop date
or the snapshot. That's what I thought too. But I can tell you from mine. So I after that dropped, I went and got voiceofdefi.eth and the voiceofdefi.eth. Got two of them. And I got two ENS tokens since that. So maybe they're still doing it. And then I can see, Christine, you've got one too. And last I saw, they're worth like $30 or I don't know what the latest.
Check that out.
Yeah, Ryan, you have it too. And I don't know, Crypto have it, but like that's crazy. See, and that brings up another point that I almost forgot. So I've said, okay, moving forward, buying NFTs on OpenSea, I was like, should we have claimed our tokens later after buying more NFTs because you can claim until June? And then someone had told me, no, it actually keeps up with it. So when you're buying NFTs, it starts sending you the difference. So it still gives you airdrops?
Let me just read this from theopendao.com. It says 50% of SOS tokens will be distributed to all addresses that have traded on OpenSea since day one. The snapshot is taken on the 23rd of December of 2021 at 12 o'clock UTC at block, and it's got the block number. So from their website, it says that they were airdropping to those that were in that snapshot on December the 23rd. It doesn't say anything about going forward, but I thought ENS said the same thing. And you and I can look and see that they're still sending out ENS tokens.
Oh, so it's probably very similar because someone told me, no, like, don't worry about it. Like everyone that claims, they, I guess, are sending you. So if we keep buying NFTs, they're going to keep sending a token, I guess.
Maybe. I don't know. Because like one difference between this ENS one and the OpenDAO was ENS wasn't a claim-based one, right? It was just a given.
Oh, yeah.
And then OpenDAO, you actually had to go in and hit a claim button to be able to get it. Here's my thought also is, and maybe it is going to be OpenSea or maybe it's going to be SOS holders, but I agree with you guys that 2022, we're going to see this tactic. You can hear like Ryan and his gears turning, thinking like there's something project.
And while we're dropping all this token alpha out here, if you have MetaMask, there's rumors they were talking about in the Bored Ape Discord that there's going to be a MetaMask token drop, and to qualify for it, you have to have used the swap function in MetaMask.
Ooh, I don't know that I have done that. I use MetaMask, but I don't know that I've used the swap.
Yeah, so if you decide to sell your SOS, swap it for ETH
through MetaMask. Yeah.
See, I just started using it. They, some of the guys told me, they're like, you could buy, because I went and bought more SOS yesterday on the dip, like Ryan did, and they were like, you could do it through MetaMask. Just swap your ETH for SOS. So I did that, and it was fairly easy.
Why didn't I do that? Because I bought the dip too. I went to like Sushi Swap or something like that. Gosh.
All right. Yeah, now you can do it right on your phone. You just gotta create the token, and it goes right onto your phone, and you can just do it right from there.
Yeah, swap. I'm so excited.
It's going to be a minimum like amount or whatever, but I just for good measure, I swapped $1,000 just for good, just to make sure there's no like minimum requirement.
I mean, if there was, you could just swap. I mean, if you really were worried about that, and you'd lose a lot in gas fees, but yeah, you could swap something back if you wanted to keep to it, and then you would have used their service. Yeah. But that just goes to show you this is going to be a thing where people are going to look at a project that is well established. In this case, we've got OpenSea, we've got the ENS domains, and maybe even MetaMask, and then there will be drops associated around that. Anything that you have a list of people and it's a public, it's public to be able to do, that will be done. Now, Ryan said,
who's going to be the first person to do a drop to everybody who's got a Bored Ape?
Ooh.
Oh, that will happen. Gosh, I mean, the people that have Bored Apes are either affluent or early, right? They either knew what they were doing early on, and therefore there's some kind of collateral in that, or they bought one and then they had the money to be able to do so. So it's a unique group of people. It's
an amazing marketing list.
Right. Yeah, it's an amazing marketing list. And then if you do that, you're probably even going to get some mainstream media coverage of This drop was done to all Bored Ape holders. This is a unique way of marketing that I think we don't really think about. And it's so much so that I think Ryan, you alluded to this earlier. Eventually, it might get to be too common to where, the first thing Christine said is this a scam? Well, there probably will be some scams using this exact same method at some point in the future. So there probably is a evil underbelly to it as well. Yeah, I need to. Besides MetaMask, what else? What other industries do you think would copy off of an established project? And then my next question is, what's the established project?
I don't know. I think that they're all going to start, especially, I don't know. I think they're all going to start doing it because it's so genius. But I am very weary now on because all you have to, we could have all got dusted if you think about it, right? We're clicking these links, connecting our wallets, whatever. It's very, we need to trust the source and the person, and we need to know how to look at the contracts and stuff. But I think they're all going to do it until it's so saturated, and then we move on to the next marketing tactic. But it's definitely genius.
I think the possibilities are endless. And so here's what popped into my mind for what I'm doing specifically. If you think about publicly traded companies, for example, what is the most amazing shareholder base for public companies right now? I mean, what company?
Ooh.
AMC.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay.
At first, yeah.
And they've got those Spider-Man NFTs. So I can go and find every wallet that has one of those Spider-Man EFTs. And if I'm trying to build a shareholder base of really fanatical shareholders, there's my list right there.
That's a great, wow. Because by the way, I'm one. I like this one because I'm one of those. I like Spider-Man. I like AMC. It just seemed like the perfect marriage for me. But you're right. There's a exclusive list now. So if you've got a list of, we've always been thinking of, maybe this is the epiphany here. We've always been thinking of how a company could use those lists. If you've heard me before, I've said if we had a concert of Jay-Z and I could send exclusive Jay-Z NFT memorabilia to the people that went to the concert. But we've never thought, or at least I've never thought, that other companies could also do that same tactic to be able to get people that just like Spider-Man, Jay-Z, NFTs, whatever. I mean, now other companies are going to be able to look at your customer base and get them their product.
Well, that's what's great about the blockchain and DeFi. So if you're, if you're Nike and you've got a list of people that bought some brand of shoes or some, specific, version of their product, right? I mean, it happens all the time. Nike sells their customer data.
Did Ryan get rugged? Did I get rugged?
I think Ryan, your Wi-Fi is getting rugged.
We lost you, Ryan. Anyway, I'll talk until he gets back because I did want to hear what he was going to say. Because all this is kind of mind blowing whenever you think about it. It's the greatest way to be able to get to a new customer base. But here's one thing that happened over the weekend that I thought really gave this legitimacy is all of the exchange. Don't you find it weird how quick some of the exchanges picked up on SOS?
Oh my God, yes. Isn't it? So it was 16 and I think it's 20 now. 20 exchanges. And then Coinbase wrote that article on Christmas, we don't, you can't get it off us, but we're going to teach you how to use the Coinbase wallet to get SOS. And I'm like, that's weird. Are they going to also have it there?
Maybe. I don't know what there's probably some cost associated with getting listed on Coinbase, but yeah, maybe. And
Coinbase,
whenever
corporate crypto, Coinbase is never going anywhere. I can never fuck with Coinbase. I own majority shares of almost everything, and I still can't fuck with Coinbase. So I really do highly recommend using Coinbase if you can for longevity.
You say you don't highly recommend?
No, I do. I do recommend using Coinbase for longevity, for long term. This whole crypto shitcoin, it's not going to last forever, man. This is very early bird thing, and this is kind of like the .com boom where you get in early, yeah, you're a trillionaire, but at the same time, this is all going to get dumped and very soon.
Sure, yeah. So you're saying if you're a main trader, a holder of top 50, top 100 cryptos, then Coinbase Wallet is your suggestion.
Yeah, exactly. I think I know a few friends who work at Robinhood. I know a few friends that work at Coinbase. And I think I know what you think about Robinhood and Coinbase, Robinhood especially, but I do think the two applications are actually for long term. They have a great dev team, better than my dev team, to be honest. I think they're good teams. I think you should definitely not
I
ignore
disagree. I
them.
think Crypto.com is a lot better than Coinbase.
You
Yeah,
said
dude,
like
Crypto.com
crypto.com.
may be better than Coinbase, but I haven't checked out Crypto.com. But I know they do have a card that you can use for debit transactions like FTX. But I haven't, obviously, because I own FTX. I don't actually use Crypto.com.
Interesting. All this is really good talk, and I feel like whenever you talk about we're early and things like that, and even saying that there may be like a shitcoin bubble, which you may indeed be right. It's just interesting that we're talking about Web3 in a way of you can tell that we're in its early infancy. Of now we're like, oh my gosh, now these airdrops can happen, and it can make it so much easier to be able to spread whatever your project is. But one thing I was just about to get to about on the exchanges, so getting on the exchanges so early, is other projects probably won't be able to do that. So let's say I've got a project and I airdrop to all OpenSea holders, same exact thing, okay? But I don't get it on exchange very quickly. It's almost like a honeypot at that point, right? Well, I guess if there's no way to buy it, it's not a honeypot. But if there's no way to sell it afterwards, then it doesn't really do you much good to get it airdropped except for the utility of it after that. So I was really surprised and maybe impressed of how quickly they all got on an exchange, because it allowed people to sell it and just kind of do open trading with it that they wouldn't have had otherwise.
Well, they added some liquidity on Uniswap in the very beginning, but I've heard the founder as well. He's good in the space, and he could move a lot of things.
Yeah, I mean, he is moving a lot of things right now, but I think his main thing has always been Bitcoin, and that's never going to change. He's never going to sell Bitcoin. And I think long term, Bitcoin isn't going anywhere, guys. Like it's just never being sold. I mean, that's why he bought all the shit coins.
Tell me about this guy, because I don't know. I mean, I've seen his name. He's a whale, from what I understand, and as you say, a whale in Bitcoin. What was his motivations for this?
They call him Satoshi Nakamoto, and I don't know who the guy is. He's in the cut or somewhere. I haven't found him yet, but. I know he owns everything, and he's making plays now, but no one quite knows where he's at.
Okay, so he is kind of Satoshi and kind of working in the shadows and things like that.
Satoshi is pissed off right now. I don't know why, but Satoshi is very pissed off right now.
How so? Where do you get that? I'm interested in this narrative.
Well, he found out, he looked at the Bored Ape Club. He really liked the Bored Ape Club. He really liked the idea early on. And the Bored Ape Club, he was full supportive of. However, the full support that he gave for the Ape Club turned them into literal monkeys. And they started swinging from trees and started like fucking murdering people. And like, they literally turned into monkeys, man. And like, I was like, what the fuck is happening? And at that point, I essentially rugged all of them, and that's what happened. I rugged all of them. They turned into apes, and then when they turned into apes, I had to fucking sweep them.
Can you elaborate?
By sweeping, I mean there's an update that I passed, basically. So whoever in here is blocked right now. Your whole thing, like waving and peace sign, is useless. You're actually not even in the metaverse right now.
My mind is blown.
So if you're blocked by one of the devs at Meta, you are not even in the metaverse.
I'm so confused at what we're talking about.
I think I got some stuff that's just started to kick in. Very, very interesting always is being able to talk to the different voices in the community and to be able to hear different perspectives. What I like to be able to do here, though, since we've had you into this, I think kind of a mammoth idea of being able to drop things to people of a particular interest. That's kind of what I want to focus on, and not so much of maybe the whale that's behind all of this. But with SOS token, how many? What was the stat you had up there earlier? Christine, it was like 70%. Yeah,
it's like 75% or something.
It's 77.78%.
Yeah.
Satoshi does not actually have a SOS token. Satoshi does not own SOS token, any of it actually. Satoshi is not a whale in a SOS token. So SOS token it may be a shitcoin, but SOS token is for the people.
Satoshi who? Are you talking about 999 or what? What are you talking about?
Yeah, 99 here.
Okay.
Gotcha. Yeah, and that's how I've seen it, is the 999 is the kind of the whale behind all of this. But that's a pretty big, if you're talking, over 75%, 3 out of every 4 people that have claimed their SOS, that is a huge amount of adoption, right? I mean, am I wrong in thinking that 3 out of every 4 is a big number?
It really comes down to the guerrilla marketing that Satoshi deployed out with his Bitcoin itself. He was very smart with how he uses Bitcoin, and basically Satoshi is a very smart man, and he essentially created a shortage, and then he created a giant supply, then a shortage again, and then a giant supply. So I mean, he is fucking with the market on a gigantic scale, and he's even making waves in the regular stock market, but he doesn't even trade in the regular stock market. So it's almost like this guy cannot lose.
Moving forward, are you messing with any protocols you think potentially could drop any airdrops looking forward? I know there's a lot of DeFi protocols, including NFTs,
Well,
social.
I know what you're talking about. Sorry, I'm not meaning to interrupt, but I know where you're going with it. I know right now there's a big influx of players, but the problem is a lot of those players have a lot of money, and so we have to do a shortage, and then we have to do it another. We don't want to cause Great Depression in the game, right? So essentially, there is going to be an airdrop soon for Ethereum, but only for key holders.
Well, that is interesting, Alpha. Thank you for your contribution. As far as NFT Buzz, you had said, what might be a next big project to be able to, drop like this. I think we have to look into big established projects, kind of like, like OpenSea is. But, I'm a bit of a loss of, what would be something that a lot of people are willing to use to kind of look forward, because there may or may not be.
Well, let's be honest, guys. Like, you're in the metaverse right now. You're not really on the fucking moon. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not really on the moon right now. You're not really on Pluto. You're not really on these planets right now. You're in a game. So, I mean, you really got to think, like, what do you really want to go to the moon? Do you really want to go to Pluto? Do you really want to go to Saturn? Like, so these elements of like what you want to do and how you're going to do it, I mean, that's going to be the big long-term longevity, is you're going to actually be able to go to the moon. You're going to actually be able to go to Saturn, actually be able to go to Pluto. But you got to work for it. It's not going to be like, oh, I have trillions, I'm just going to drop this on, like, you got to work to get there. It's not going to be easy.
I've been working a lot on Web3 myself. I'm excited about Web3 socials. There's a lot. This is not a new concept. I think the first one I stumbled upon was in 2016, Steemit. But there's been newer ones. BitCloud is one. GM.io or something like that. My favorite is Joe's link in bio, but that's things I've been noticing.
Well, and just a second, Brandon. I've got to move on a little bit. But just since you mentioned that NFT Buzz, I do think obviously socials that have to do with NFTs or crypto or even stocks are big, and the account that I'm talking from right now, TRADERVERSE, that's going to be a social network that's completely devoted to NFTs, cryptos, and stocks and the trading of them and that sort of thing. And with it, there will be streaming videos and almost like a Substack sort of a thing where there can be blogging and integrated charting and a token system kind of put in as part of it. And I've never heard anything that TRADERVERSE is wanting to do an airdrop like this or anything, but it gives you when you think about that, that's kind of the next application, right? Is if there are social networks that's completely revolved around certain parts of the Web3 ecosystem, that's a good customer base, right? That's a good customer base to go after and look at these type of airdrops, right?
Exactly. You want to be looking for those protocols that are going to onboard millions of people going forward.
Not even in the metaverse. And I just want to say that basically, yeah, we will. I'm getting rugged right now. Hang on.
He's getting rugged, guys. He might be rugging us all right now.
Right. Yeah, that'll happen. All right. Well, I do want to kind of keep the conversation forward, so I don't want to, I'll just go ahead and say we're just going to kind of move forward from this because that's been one of my more interesting TRADERVERSE conversations. So yeah, as I look to like social networks and things like that, that will probably be, kind of prime real estate for people to do airdrops just like this. So Ryan, you had said, or Ryan's not in here anymore, but he had said he had sold a third of his airdropped SOS and then bought more again. Do you guys believe so much in this SOS project that you're looking to buy additional amount than what you had?
Yes, I already did. When Ryan bought it, we were talking yesterday, and I was like, I really like this SOS coin. And then he was like, yeah, me too. And then I was like, I think I'm gonna buy the dip. And then we both did it, like when it hit sixes. And I was like, I think I'm just gonna accumulate this and do like a recurring, like small recurring buys weekly.
Oh, so you are a SOS maxi. You're looking to get back in. See, I did the same thing. I bought a little bit of the dip, not a whole lot, a few $100s, not a whole lot, but I did the same thing. And it's a little bit just because I could see that they're going to be a project that is, has a big following at the least. They've got people like yourself that is, I don't want to, SOS Maxi is too strong, but you're a big fan. You're SOS cheerleader.
I am. I believe in community, like driven projects or tokens. And I think what they have going in the short amount of time, and it doesn't look like it doesn't look like they're slowing down at all. And it's super impressive. I think, and I want to believe in them and I want them to succeed. And I like that they airdrop to the community. And, I just would love that. And I think their vision and that what they want with NFT security and everything, I think I'm for it. And it's always good to be early, like that's what we say, like your entry is very important, and I think it's really early and to accumulate SOS, and if they're able to execute correctly, it can be really rewarding.
So what are they wanting to execute? I mean, are they just wanting, if they got their wishes, if the Open DAO got their wishes, would they just be a DAO that kind of governs OpenSea, or are they looking to actually compete with OpenSea and come out with a competing product?
They're competing. They partnered up with, I forget who, but they partnered up with some open marketplace. Let me find it. I'll pin it.
Yeah, please do. Please do. I'd love to see that. So it's more of a competition thing where, much like I said earlier, where they actually got the customer list of their competitor and said, well, we can start it. And we know the addresses of literal, wallet addresses of every one of your customers. And we can beat you that way. Except this is a DAO, right?
Right.
Let's say at OpenSea, we feel like the fees are too big, right? And OpenDAO, if we were to do it like that, we'd be able to vote on what the fees would be, correct?
Correct. And I think essentially it was to apply pressure on OpenSea to be better and to, look out for their clients or their customers or whatever. And what the conversation became is if OpenSea doesn't respond to this, then they are going to compete with OpenSea. But I think it's so early that OpenSea still might respond to the conversation and then essentially adopt SOS.
Well, competition is good. I wouldn't want them to adopt. I would want two separate things going on, and the market should decide which one is better.
I love that thought. I mean, where would Windows and Mac be without each other, right? They both made their products better to have that competition. So I completely agree with what NFT Buzz just said. And that's competition is good. We don't need to see that as a bad thing. Whenever there's not competition, that's whenever you get monopolies, and then they can just charge whatever they want on fees or any other kind of decision. But whenever there's alternatives, the community is always going to go to whatever's the best alternative for them.
Right. And the good thing about this is we would vote on that, right? Like all SOS holders would vote on, like, let's say OpenSea did respond and was like, hey, we want to adopt SOS. You guys are right. We need to do better, be better, blah, blah, blah. And then there is no person like at the top that makes that decision. It's all of us, and whatever it's voted on would be it.
I think that's what can drive up a price on something like this, because if it is a DAO and you had a company that really wanted to have a big vote, well, what would they do? They would gobble up all the SOS that they could so that they could have a higher weighted vote within the DAO, and that makes the price per token go up whenever that happens. So if it does get kind of a critical mass where it looks like SOS holders, have a say in a big Web3 project, then I think that will make other big players in the space buy more SOS so they can have a say in it. Because let me just say, I'd like to have a say in the things that OpenSea does. So if they were associated with that, then yeah, I'd want to do that, or its competitor for that matter.
I'm looking at this model as a new way. It's called engage to earn. On Web3, you got to engage with these protocols, participate to earn, whatever you call it. Because I think the airdrop was a fair distribution, and unfair too, in that it was only dropped to those who spent a lot of money on OpenSea. I mean, maybe those are the people that we want, leading the DAO. It's interesting how a fair distribution is really important in it all.
Yeah, because they could have filtered out even more if they wanted to, right? And just said only people that have, 5 or more transactions or anything like that. Flippers are who really, people that, buy and then sell often on OpenSea were the big winners in this. And they probably found themselves with quite a few SOS tokens. And many of them may have sold at the top or may be holding for, greater riches. But you already said, Christine, that somebody is looking to airdrop an NFT to SOS token holders. That's interesting to me already, because now it's like what am I trying to say? Airdropception, NFTception, where
NFTception, Crip. We were talking about it, right? They're airdropping airdropping NFTs to SOS holders only.
Yeah, there's one dude. I think he's partnering up with 999 or some shit like that. And it's, I guess they're basically working on the NFT now, and they're gonna airdrop it as soon as it's like ready to be whenever the artwork is 100%.
I put it up on the Nest right now too, if you guys want to look at it. But things like that, and I think I shared with them yesterday. Oh, let me share this one as well. So they had Render had posted accepting SOS only, and the current bid is 9 billion SOS, which is 15 ETH, and then the next bid over was 9.9 billion SOS, and he's only accepting SOS. So you have these leaders and artists in this community, and they're really pushing for SOS to be like the token for the people. I think the vision is what is selling it to a lot of.
So are you thinking the SOS would be like the currency for NFTs? Is that what you're hoping, at least?
I'm hoping, yeah.
I'm hoping too. Like I swear to God, like when this shit happened, I was like, all right, now the takeover's beginning. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's how I looked at it. And as long as we continue to stand by it, I think we're unstoppable. It's more of us than them.
Gosh, I like that idea. I like it to where it's like, oh, I got a fire NFT collection that I just released, and the floor price is 100 SOS, right? We don't talk in ETH anymore,
right? And that the next, because I saw a lot of people that were using Polygon, and they're like, about us, that's not fair. Like, about us, like all I've used is Polygon, and I was like, they're the next, they're gonna get one.
So what's the Polygon major marketplace?
What is that one called? The one that everyone uses is a Polygon. I always forget because I've never.
Is it Nifty Pixels? Something like
no
Nifty.
Oh, it is.
Cargo?
No, I love how none of us know because we haven't bought it. But
I've done some.
I don't speak that language.
The thing is, I'm not. I don't know if y'all are anti-Polygon or anti-Matic or not, but I like Polygon. I like it a lot, actually. I'll be honest, I haven't. A lot of the major projects aren't on it, so I think that's the biggest thing for me. Is I am technology agnostic. Okay, I want the one that the community is going towards, and there seems to be more of it following. Say that again.
Rings a bell.
Nifty Gateway, is that it, Christine?
No, Nifty.
That's a market.
Yeah, that's a market, and they use credit card.
Yeah.
Ooh.
NFT Buzz, were you gonna?
Well, I just wanted to say, so if you're excited about Matic Polygon, I would be interested. And you said there's no big project using Matic. I think the biggest project right now is Showtime, and they have integrated with it. You could mint for free. In fact, I minted my logo for free. That's chill. But you could. It's a really cool protocol, and they're opening their marketplace soon. I'd look into it.
I should have mentioned Showtime. I've talked with Alex a few times over at Showtime before he got into Showtime, and yeah, you're right. I should recalibrate what I'm thinking there, because I'm mainly thinking of the big NFT projects. But Showtime, you're right. That's a real good counterpoint.
Alex is amazing. Yeah.
He seems to be. He seems to be. I used to deal. So I'm not doxxed. I just go by the voice of DeFi. But used to, there was it was going to be a social media network, kind of like TikTok, it was called Pepo or Peepo, and he was on there well before Showtime. And I remember chatting with him a few times in that thing. It's now defunct. It didn't last very long. But yeah, Alex seems to be a pretty intelligent guy. But yeah, Showtime on Matic, that's a pretty big one. What'd you just pin up here? Oh, you pinned a Showtime one.
So if you made an account on Showtime before October or something, you could claim their Genesis NFT.
That's really cool. But yeah, maybe that's the next big one, because now we've had the big drop with ETH, and I've got to think Polygon Matic will be the next big thing, and maybe it is through Showtime. Maybe that is the big one to look after. But this this is not over. I guarantee you. This whole idea of dropping to certain user bases or customer bases, I will bet we have many wallets that are just straight up dusted because of this. And let me tell you how I know. I told you before, I'm involved in a BSC project that does airdrops. Okay, so over the last year, they've probably done 70 or 80 tokens that they've been involved with, and most of them fizzle out and don't do well as it goes with BSC. Some do well, but the point is, since I hold this token and it gets airdrops, I get dusted with so much junk. Okay, that wallet is just filled to the brim with just junk of stuff that has nothing to do with that project, but they know that project gets airdrops, so it just gets junk after junk after junk. And sometimes, as you guys may know, you'll get dropped and it'll say something like it's worth $10,000, but I know if I touch that $10,000, it'll somehow compromise my wallet or something will happen that I don't want to mess with. But this will happen more and more as this thing.
I remember early in DeFi days, maybe 20, there was this airdrop of some token, and I got like $10,000 worth of it. It was a marketplace, but I couldn't claim it unless I went through their KYC, and I didn't want to go through their KYC, so it's just still sitting there. And yeah, I feel you. I get a ton of NFT airdrops.
Yeah, and yeah, you sometimes you want to do something with it, but you just, I don't know, it's just scary to do it. The latest one that I've seen is they airdrop it to you. You have to go to their website, and then you have to use their contract to be able to get this $10,000 that you've got. But the gas fee that you pay through that isn't really a gas fee. It's just basically a fee that goes right to the people that made it. And in the end, they'll make money. They'll make more money than they're giving out on that one. So be careful for that, because I think this, if this SOS thing, I'm not saying it's not legit. Okay, I don't want Christine to beat me up if I said it's not legit. But if this SOS thing shows like a proof of concept, there's going to be some bad actors out there that are going to take advantage of people's excitedness about this way of doing things.
I feel like this is an evolution of whitelist. Before, I've seen a lot of projects be like, we're going to whitelist all of the Bored Apes, and we're going to whitelist this project. Well, like they're aiming for an up as opposed to airdropping. That's a completely different thing from whitelisting thing. But yeah, I feel you. This metadata is there, and it will be used, and it will continue to be used.
Do you guys think the common way of doing it will be straight airdropping it like ENS did, or do you think it'll be claim-based more like SOS did?
Do an airdrop, you had to claim it. I swear to God. Am I tripping?
Someone help me out there, because I wasn't there before that drop.
I'm pretty sure you have to claim it, and just like the SOS, you have until like the second month of next year or something to claim it.
The only reason I thought you didn't is because I got my .eth domain after the drop, and I just assumed I missed out on it. But there I can see on Etherscan, I've got a couple of ENS tokens that were after that drop, and I never did anything on claiming or anything like that I can recall.
No, I didn't claim it because gas was too high. I didn't claim it for like a week or two because gas was too high. I completely remember. You had to claim it. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Well, I did get it. I do have an ENS token, and I have not claimed it. But caveat, I didn't get it until after that event happened, that airdrop happened. So, who knows? Either way, there is two ways of doing it, right? You can have it claim-based, or they could just do it. Probably, I would think, just from a monetary standpoint, they would rather do it claim-based, so you only get the people that are serious about getting it to get it. Also, whenever you have claim-based, you get to put the gas on the user, and whenever you just airdrop, you're taking the gas hit on that one, and that may be that right there is probably the biggest one right there.
So that's a good point. A paid wall is great to only get the people who are actually interested. But yeah, good point. I wasn't thinking about that.
Yeah, because that could get really expensive for some projects to airdrop to thousands of wallets and paying the Ethereum gas fee. Now on the other chain, now there's another thing on these other chains, like on Polygon, you might be able to do just a straight airdrop and not have it be such a big deal. But on Ethereum, yeah, you better make it claim-based, and you better put the gas on them.
I interact with the Neo protocol, and just this Christmas I had to send out 200 NFTs. I only paid I think $2 total. For 200
NFTs, that's insane. It really shows the good points about some of the other chains. I mean, I think I've had on this very Traderverse show, we've had people come in here and say that they thought that the high gas fees were a good thing for Ethereum because it kind of, filtered out the bad actors, that nobody wanted to go scam if it was going to cost them, $150 in gas. And so maybe that's true on some level, but on the different chains, it's a different way of life, and there will probably be some different side effects from those other chains. Well, I'm interested in seeing kind of how we can go forward from here. I really do think in 2022, later this week, well, hopefully Zach will be back. By the way, Zach, he's with TRADERVERSE, head of community over at TRADERVERSE, and he came down with COVID last week. So hopefully he is better soon. But when he does get better, if it is this week, I would like to do kind of a predictions for 2022. Not necessarily predictions of I think this price will go up or this price will go down, but maybe just some predictions of like I think we will see airdrops be a common thing that we see at least once a month, 12 times by the end of next year. And I think I'll pick a higher number than that. Or I don't know, Christine may pick something else that she thinks the industry will be doing that will be big. And so then maybe we could compare it next year to kind of see where we end.
Like this time next year.
Right, like the last week between Christmas and New Year's, we can compare it and say, okay, this is what Christine said, and we all laugh at her because way wrong, right?
Oh no, man! This time next year, man, I'll probably be on a yacht.
Crypt Keeper, that actually was one of my predictions, is that Crypt Keeper will be on a yacht and may not even be in here. So yeah, don't pull the curtain back too much on my prediction. I hope that is true for you. I hope that's true for all of us as we try to just navigate our way through. I'm excited about 2022. And I'm glad you said that because a little bit because of things like this SOS drop, but 2022 is going to have some neat bull runs. It's going to have some painful bear markets in there as well. And I don't know, it's just the fun of this whole game, right?
Yeah, and I think we're witnessing a huge transition right now, and I'm glad that we're already part of this space because another thing that we forgot to bring up too that's huge is December 25th on Christmas Day, Staples Center finally unveiled their new sign, which is crypto.com arena. And I think that by itself, I know a lot of people hate that, but I think that by itself will onboard so many people into the space and just be curious about it in general.
I'm glad you mentioned that because that was huge.
And I missed that free fucking NFT.
I need to send me a crow link, Christine.
Okay.
Yeah, I need to look into getting a card there. I want that beautiful green card. I think I looked. It's $4,000. You have to stake for that one.
$4,000.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think with the exposure they're getting through that arena, that 4,000 could be more by the time the staking period's done.
Y'all gonna make me y'all just made me buy a ETH.net thing. Now I'm about to get one of these credit cards.
Oh, let me send you a link.
Sure, put it in the chat, Chris.
Yeah, she will. She's got us. But yeah, that I think if I put $4,000 in, again, what I'm about to say, not financial advice. I'm an idiot behind a microphone. Don't listen to what I'm saying. This is just personally for me. Is I think if I stake 4,000, that there's a decent chance, especially given staking, that it's compounding in and of itself. But I think the value of Crow could go up with that extra exposure that they get from that arena.
And the best part of the price going up is you kind of upgrade cards as the price goes up. To get the green card, I think you need 4,000. To get the next level up, you need like 20,000. So if the price of Crow goes up, the amount of Crow needed per card also kind of goes down if you're a holder.
That's a great point.
Right?
Like,
you got that?
Yeah, if it's $4,000 and it 5x's, okay, and I haven't looked at market cap just to see if 5x is in the cards for them. So don't send me hate mail if if it's not going to 5x. But if it were to 5x, you would immediately upgrade to the next tier just from value of it, right? It'd be 20,000.
What's the Pro right now? I got in at like 3, out at 8, and back in at 14. Okay.
Coming soon. Just a second.
It's been crazy. I don't know. Crazy year, guys.
It is at 64 cents.
Let's fucking go!
All right. The first yacht for 2022 just got bought. No, yeah, it's at 64 cents right now. So it's definitely on the upswing. And hey, here's what I think it's good for Crow and crypto.com, but honestly, because of the name crypto.com, I think it's just good for the industry. I think it's good that, it's called crypto. It could have been called, Gemini or something like that, and nobody would know quite what it was talking about. But it's called crypto.com. It's right there on the front of the building on one of the most valuable franchises in the entire world plays in there, and it's big to me. To me, it's huge. So thank you for mentioning that, Christine. That was their first day.
And I put it up on the Nest if you guys want to use my referral link to the crypto.com card. But I do think that they are gonna do amazing. How long is their lease for? 20 years?
It's something like that. It's 20 or 25 years. I can't
Yeah.
remember.
And they have so many events. Like they have, the basketball games, the hockey games. They have I don't know, all the award shows they have.
Grammys and
Yeah.
the Olympics are going to be there.
Yeah.
So
Really?
yeah. The Olympics are going to be in LA in 2024. Don't quote me on any of that. Not calendar advice. But I've heard this from other spaces that I've been in, from LA inhabitants, that the Olympics are coming there. So I have not fact checked that. So do your own research if that's true. But I believe the Olympics are coming to LA, and certainly there will be some events that are played in the crypto.com arena. I almost said Staples Center just now.
And when you drive by it, I mean, like I live close to LA, and you just drive by. I mean, it's just a staple of LA, and that's funny.
Staples.
RIP. Crypto.com arena is here to stay. But I just think it's huge, and everyone has been, I'm sure all of you guys get so many questions from loved ones and friends and stuff in real life, and they're like, so crypto.com arena, like what's that? What's crypto.com? What's crypto, blah blah blah. Like now's the time, and it's a huge transition. And as a lot of people were really skeptical of it, but crypto is here to stay. It's transitioning. I think 2022 we'll see a lot more onboarding of a lot of people that doubted it before. They're going to come on, and I think that's great because it's going to bring volume. It's going to bring more decentralization into our finance world, and which is what we need. So let's get it.
For sure. I'm hoping in 2022 it's we don't see just a severe bear market. I would even rather be sideways, because I don't want all these new people that are being onboarded to get wrecked and then all of a sudden it's a scam to them. Because that's what happens is people, they join in, they buy at the top, they chase green candles, and then it crashes on them and they say, I knew it. It was a scam the whole time. So I'm hoping that we at least see some sideways market. Rather in whenever it's not a bull market, I just want it to be sideways, because I don't want new people to get wrecked. They can get wrecked at another time, but I don't want it to be whenever they're first and new to the space, because that would be bad.
And I think if we could help them as much as possible, and give them a great experience, at least until they're on their own and they can make their own decisions about getting into shitcoins and then taking that risk, that would be on them. But like when I onboard people, I try to tell them, because they aim towards the altcoins, and I'm like, don't do that at first. Like go with more stable coins and top 10 coins and stuff, because you need to be more experienced and have more of an iron stomach to handle like the volatility of the altcoins. So
For sure. And I like what you just said. It's not that you just turned them off of the altcoins and just said, forget it. You just said, hey, get your toes wet first. Okay. Get, wade in the water for a little bit with your top 50, top 100 coins. Then once you know the space a little bit better, go for it. If you know the risk and you want 1,000x something and you think you found the altcoin for you, then go for it. But right initially, you just need to understand just kind of crypto in general. And I almost wish there was an onboarding process that said like, all right, if it's not on the front page of Coinbase at first, you got 1 month. You can trade those, but that's it. And after that 1 month, you can then join in and do whatever you want. But I do want like an onboarding thing. All right, guys, it has been fantastic to be able to speak with every one of you today. We had a good crowd in here, and I think a little bit is because of the cool SOS talk, and then the crypto.com arena talk here at the end. Also had an interesting call in today, which Christine, we'll talk about that sometime offline. That was a fun one. But yeah, it was a great to talk to you guys. I want to be able to have this type of community with TRADERVERSE. So as the product launches, for the social network that is TRADERVERSE launches, I hope we can have community times like this all the time, all the day, all the day. I'm trying to say like all the live long day. What a weird. Anyway, all right, guys, it has been great speaking with you. We will be here tomorrow at 17:30 UTC. That's 23-ish hours from now. Until then, we'll see you then. I love all of you.